I thought I could hide it forever, my affair with his younger brother. I kissed his brother at the wedding. Not a peck. Not an accident. A full, deliberate, tongue-in-mouth kiss in the coat room while my fiancé was giving his best man speech 20 feet away. Tyler's hands were in my hair. Mine were on his chest. We could hear Marcus's voice through the door, talking about brotherhood and loyalty and forever. I pulled away first. Tyler smiled like we'd just shared a secret instead of committed a betrayal. And I told myself it didn't count because we were drunk. Because it was just one time. Because no one saw. Because Marcus would never know. That was 18 months ago. We've been sleeping together ever since. My fiancé, Marcus, is 34. Stable. Kind. The kind of man who brings me coffee in bed every morning and remembers my mom's birthday without me having to remind him. We've been together 6 years, engaged for 2. He proposed on the beach at sunset like something out of a movie. I would have rolled my eyes if it wasn't happening to me. I said yes before he finished the question. I meant it then. I think I meant it. His younger brother, Tyler, is 26. All jaw and trouble and the kind of attention that made me feel 22 again instead of 31 with a mortgage and a wedding Pinterest board I'd stopped updating 6 months into the engagement. Tyler had that energy. That thing that makes you feel alive just being near it. Marcus was a warm bath. Tyler was jumping into cold water. I didn't realize I was drowning until I was already under. It started so small I didn't even recognize it as starting. Tyler moved back to town after bouncing around post-college jobs that never stuck. He crashed on our couch for a month while he looked for an apartment. Marcus was thrilled. His little brother, home again. They'd watch sports. Drink beer. Do that guy bonding thing. And I'd sit between them, feeling Tyler's eyes on me when Marcus wasn't looking. Late-night conversations when Marcus was asleep. I'd come down for water. Tyler would be on the couch, scrolling his phone. We'd talk. Nothing deep at first. Just easy conversation. He made me laugh. Really laugh. The kind where your stomach hurts. Marcus made me smile. Tyler made me feel something I'd forgotten I could feel. Inside jokes developed. His hand on my lower back when he passed behind me in the kitchen. His leg pressed against mine under the table at Sunday dinners. Little touches that could have been accidents but weren't. I knew they weren't. He knew I knew. I told myself it was harmless. Flattering. Marcus was so comfortable with me he barely looked up from his laptop anymore. We'd have dinner in front of the TV. Sex twice a month if I initiated. We'd become roommates who shared a bed. Tyler looked at me like I was the only person in the room. Like I mattered. Like I was still someone worth chasing. My friends noticed the change in me. I'd mentioned Tyler in conversation. Tyler said this. Tyler thinks that. They'd exchange glances. My best friend, Rachel, pulled me aside at book club. Asked if everything was okay with Marcus. I said it was fine. Great. She didn't look convinced. I stopped going to book club. The night it became physical, I'd had 3 glasses of wine. Marcus was at a work conference in Denver. 3 days. Tyler came over to borrow tools for his new apartment and stayed for dinner. I made pasta. We finished a bottle of wine. Opened another. One thing led to another is the phrase people use when they don't want to admit they made 100 tiny choices that added up to betrayal. I chose to text him to come over even though I didn't need company. Chose to change into the dress that Marcus said made me look incredible. Chose to pour the 4th glass. Chose to put on the playlist with all the slow songs. Chose to sit too close on the couch. Chose not to move when our legs touched. Chose not to stop him when his hand moved to my thigh. Chose to turn my head when he leaned in. Chose to kiss him back. Chose to let his hands wander. Chose to stand up and take his hand. Chose to lead him to the guest bedroom instead of the one I shared with his brother. We had sex 3 times that night. Each time I told myself it was the last. That I'd stop. That this was just something I needed to get out of my system. A moment of weakness. A mistake I'd never make again. It happened again 4 days later. Then twice a week. Then whenever we could. His apartment when Marcus thought I was at yoga. Hotel rooms when we wanted to pretend we were people who didn't know Marcus existed. During my lunch breaks. Early mornings before work when Marcus had already left. Once, and I hate myself for this, in Marcus's truck while he was inside his parents' house for Sunday dinner. We had 12 minutes. It was enough. The line became automatic. Working late? Girls' night. Running errands. Meeting with the wedding planner. Dress fittings that didn't exist. Marcus never questioned me. Why would he? I'd never given him a reason not to trust me. That's what made it so easy. His trust was a wide open door I walked through every time I wanted to. Every time I wanted Tyler. Tyler and I didn't talk about Marcus. That was the unspoken rule. We existed in this bubble where consequences didn't live. Where we were just two people who wanted each other. He'd tell me I was beautiful. That Marcus didn't appreciate me. That he'd noticed me years ago, at their family Christmas party, when I was wearing that red dress. That he thought about me. Wanted me. That we had something real. Something Marcus and I had lost. I believed him because I wanted to. Because admitting what we actually had meant admitting what I actually was. A cheater. A liar. The kind of woman I used to judge. The kind of woman whose stories I'd read on Reddit and think, how could she? How could anyone be that selfish? I became that woman one choice at a time. My friends started noticing I was distant. I stopped returning calls. Cancelled plans last minute. When I did show up, I was distracted. Checking my phone constantly. Leaving early. Making excuses. I was too busy managing two lives to maintain friendships. Too busy keeping my stories straight. Too busy being two different versions of myself. My mom asked if I was okay. If Marcus and I were fighting. I snapped at her. Told her everything was fine. That I was just stressed about the wedding. She backed off. I could see the hurt in her eyes. I didn't care. Everything felt like an interrogation. Everyone felt like a threat. Anyone who looked at me too long. Anyone who asked too many questions. I was constantly on defense, constantly 3 steps ahead, constantly exhausting myself to keep the lie alive. The worst part? I started resenting Marcus. For being predictable. For not suspecting. For trusting me. For making me feel guilty every time he smiled at me or talked about the wedding or called Tyler to grab a beer. For being a good man. For loving me the way I didn't deserve. I turned him into the problem so I didn't have to be. Convinced myself he was boring. That we'd lost our spark. That I deserved more. Better. Something that made me feel alive. I'd come home from Tyler's apartment and Marcus would be making dinner. He'd kiss my forehead. Ask about my day. I'd lie with a smile. Tell him about the client meeting that never happened. The traffic that didn't exist. He'd nod. Believe me? Go back to chopping vegetables. And I'd feel nothing. No guilt. No shame. Just annoyance that I had to be there instead of with Tyler. We had sex less and less. When we did, I'd think about Tyler. Picture his hands instead of Marcus's. I became a stranger in my own relationship. A ghost. Marcus noticed. Asked if something was wrong. If he'd done something. I said no. That I was tired. Stressed. He believed me. Tried harder. Brought home flowers. Planned date nights. Made an effort. Which made me resent him more. Because his effort highlighted my betrayal. Made it impossible to pretend we were both equally checked out. 3 months ago, Tyler started pulling back. Texts took longer to return. He canceled plans. Said he was busy with work. With friends. With anything but me. I spiraled. Checked his Instagram obsessively. Saw him at bars with people I didn't recognize. Girls smiling in the background. I accused him of seeing someone else, which is hilarious in the most horrible way. Me, the woman cheating on her fiancé with his brother, jealous that he might be cheating on our affair. He said we needed to cool off. That it was getting too risky. That people might notice. I begged. Actually begged him to keep destroying my life with me. Sent paragraph texts about how much I needed him. How good we were together. How we could be more careful. He'd respond with one-word answers. Okay. Maybe. Later. That's when I knew how far gone I was. I wasn't in love with Tyler. I was addicted to the thrill. To feeling wanted. To the version of myself that existed in hotel rooms and stolen hours. The version that didn't have to be responsible or faithful or good. The version that got to be selfish and reckless and free. I'd look at Marcus across the dinner table and feel nothing but trapped. We'd talk about wedding details and I'd tune out. Not at the right moments. Agree to whatever he suggested. He thought I was being easygoing. I was being absent. Already halfway out the door. Last week, I found out why Tyler pulled back. He'd started dating someone. A 23-year-old named Jess he met at the gym. Blonde. Tight body. Smile that hadn't been broken by bad choices yet. He posted her on Instagram. Them at coffee. At the movies. At the park. Normal couple things. Things we could never do. I stared at those photos for an hour, this girl with her whole life ahead of her, not knowing she was dating a man who'd spend a year and a half sleeping with his brother's fiancée. I called him. He didn't answer. I texted. Paragraph after paragraph. He responded hours later. We can't do this anymore. No explanation. No apology. No acknowledgement of what we'd been. Just done. Like I was a subscription he was canceling. Like 18 months meant nothing. I fell apart. Not because I lost him. Because I realized I'd risked everything for someone who didn't even care enough to answer the phone. I'd blown up my life for someone who moved on before I even knew we were over. Someone who was already building a future with someone else while I was still trying to hold on to our past. That's when I got sloppy. Stopped deleting messages. Left my phone unlocked on the counter. Stopped checking who could see my Instagram stories. Tyler's new girlfriend posted a photo of them at Moretti's, the Italian place Marcus took me to for our anniversary. She captioned it "Best Date Night." I commented that place is overrated. Deleted it 30 seconds later. But not before Marcus's sister, Amy, saw it. She called me. Asked why I commented on Tyler's girlfriend's post. Asked how I even knew who she was. I said I'd seen her on Tyler's page. That I thought she was pretty. That I was just being friendly. Amy said it was weird. Asked if something was going on. I laughed it off. Said she was being paranoid. But my voice shook. She heard it. I knew she heard it. 2 days later, Marcus came home early from work. I was on the couch, crying over Tyler's Instagram story. Him and Jess at some rooftop bar downtown. Looking happy. Looking like a real couple. I was just sobbing into a throw pillow like a teenager who'd been dumped. Which, functionally, I had been. Marcus walked in. Saw me. Stopped. What's wrong? I said nothing. Work stress. He didn't believe me. I could see it in his face. The way his jaw tightened. The way he looked at me like he was trying to solve a puzzle. He sat down. Didn't touch me. Just sat on the other end of the couch. Just tell me the truth. I should have denied it. Should have invented a dead coworker or family drama or anything. But I was so tired. Tired of lying. Tired of managing. Tired of being this person. Tired of carrying the weight of what I'd done. So I told him. Not everything. Just enough. That I'd developed feelings for someone else. That it had gotten physical. That it was over now. That it meant nothing. That I loved him. That I was sorry. He asked who. I stayed quiet. Looked at the carpet. At the coffee table. At anything but him. He asked again. Quieter this time. Almost a whisper. Who? I couldn't say it. Couldn't make my mouth form the words. My silence was the answer. He stood up. Walked to the bedroom. I heard drawers opening. Thought he was packing. He came back with his phone. Pulled up something. Tyler's contact. Scrolled to that morning. A text from Tyler. Sent at 9:47 a.m. We need to talk. It's about her. Marcus had known for 8 hours. He'd gone to work. Sat through meetings. Come home. Made small talk. He'd been waiting for me to tell him. Giving me a chance to come clean. To show some shred of integrity. I'd failed one final test. How long? He asked. It's over, I said. How long? 18 months. I watched something die in his eyes. Some last piece of hope or love or belief in me. It just went out. Like a light switch. He didn't yell. Didn't cry. Didn't throw things or demand details. Just looked at me like I was a stranger. Like 6 years had evaporated and he was seeing me clearly for the first time. Seeing exactly who I was. What I was capable of. Get out, he said. I tried to explain. Started to speak. He held up his hand. Get out of my house. I grabbed my purse. My phone. He was already texting. By the time I got to my car, I had 17 missed calls. His mom. His sister. His best friend. My own mother. Tyler blocked me on everything before I even left the driveway. Instagram. Facebook. Text messages. Just gone. I drove to a hotel. The Holiday Inn off the interstate. Sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes. Couldn't make myself go inside. Checked social media. Marcus had already posted on Facebook. Updated his relationship status to single. Posted, wedding is off. Keep her in your prayers. I'm done. No explanation. No details. No airing of dirty laundry. Just done. The comments flooded in immediately. People asking what happened. Offering support. Saying he deserved better. He didn't respond to any of them. Just left it there. A gravestone for our relationship. That's when it hit me. He wasn't going to fight for me. Wasn't going to yell or demand answers or give me a chance to grovel. Wasn't going to make me explain or beg or prove I could change. I was just gone to him. Erased. 6 years deleted in 8 hours. I thought the worst part would be getting caught. But the worst part was how easy it was for him to let me go. How quickly he'd moved from love to nothing. How completely I destroyed the one person who'd actually loved me. And how little I'd mattered to the person I threw it all away for. The hotel room smelled like bleach and someone else's mistakes. I sat on the edge of the bed and realized I had nowhere to go. Marcus would keep the house. It was his before we got together. His parents had helped with the down payment. I'd moved in 3 years ago, never put my name on anything. Never thought I'd need to. I had no legal right to any of it. No claim. No leverage. Nothing. I called Rachel. She'd already heard. Is it true? She asked. I said yes. She said she needed space to process. Click. I had 2 other friends left who answered. Both asked if it was true. Both said they needed time when I confirmed. No one needed time. They needed distance from the mess I'd become. From the person they'd never thought I could be. My phone kept buzzing. Marcus's mom left a voicemail calling me a word I won't repeat. His sister sent a paragraph about how I destroyed their family. How Tyler had confessed everything. How Marcus was devastated. How she'd never want to see me again. My own brother texted, "You're dead to me until you fix this." As if there was a fix. As if sorry could reconstruct the bomb site I'd made of my life. I turned off my phone. Sat in the dark. And finally let myself feel it. The weight of what I'd done. Not just to Marcus. To myself. To the future I'd taken for granted. To the person I used to be before I decided she wasn't enough. The next morning, I woke up to 53 text messages. I turned my phone back on at 3 a.m., unable to sleep, needing to see the damage. None from Marcus. All from his family and mine. His mother called me a whore. His sister sent 3 paragraphs about family values and trust and how some things can never be forgiven. His cousin, who I'd barely spoken to in 6 years, felt entitled to share her opinion about my character. My own brother said I was an embarrassment. That mom was crying. That he didn't know how I could do this to a man like Marcus. My aunt chimed in with Bible verses about adultery. I tried calling Marcus. Blocked. Email. Blocked. I drove to the house at 7 a.m. He'd already changed the locks. My clothes were in trash bags on the front porch. Not folded. Not packed with any care. Just stuffed into black contractor bags like actual garbage. 13 bags total. 6 years of my life reduced to trash day. The neighbors watched from their windows. Mrs. Chen from next door, who'd brought us cookies when we got engaged. The Patels who we'd grilled with last summer. All of them watching me load my life into my car in 3 trips, crying so hard I nearly threw up on the driveway Marcus and I had shoveled together last winter. On the 3rd trip, I saw a note taped to one bag. Marcus's handwriting. "Your ring is in the side pocket. Donated it to charity." Seemed appropriate. I dug through the bag. Found the box. Empty except for a receipt from a women's shelter. He donated my engagement ring. The ring he'd saved 6 months to buy. The ring I'd worn while sleeping with his brother. Given it away like I'd given away us. I moved in with my mom. 31 years old, sleeping in my childhood bedroom with a twin bed and posters I'd been too lazy to take down when I moved out at 18. My mom barely spoke to me the first week. She'd make dinner, leave a plate on the counter, eat alone in her room. I'd hear her on the phone with my aunt. I don't know what happened to her. I raised her better than this. I thought I raised her better. When she finally talked to me, she cried. Asked what Marcus had done to make me do this. I told her nothing. He'd done nothing wrong. That made it worse somehow. She couldn't understand. Then why? Why would you throw away a man like that? I didn't have an answer. Still don't. What do you say? I was bored? I wanted attention? Some broken thing inside me needed to prove I could have whatever I wanted? The wedding venue wouldn't refund the deposit. $7,000 gone. Marcus told them to keep it. That he didn't need blood money. My name was on the contract too. They wanted their balance. Another $8,000. I didn't have $8,000. I'd spent my savings on hotel rooms and lingerie and birthday gifts for a man who'd blocked me before I made it out of the driveway. I had to take out a loan. A personal loan at 18% interest to pay for a wedding that would never happen. I'll be paying for my betrayal literally until I'm 35. Work was worse. We'd invited 12 people from my office to the wedding. They'd all seen the Facebook post. They'd all heard. The whispers started Monday. I'd walk into the break room and conversation would stop. People would look away. Someone had printed out Marcus's Facebook post and left it on my desk. I threw it away. It reappeared the next day. My boss, Patricia, called me into her office Wednesday morning. She didn't say anything about the wedding. Just mentioned that maybe I should take some personal time. Get my head straight. Come back when I was ready to be professional. I took 2 weeks. When I came back, I'd been moved to a different team. Away from client-facing work. Away from anywhere my mess could splash onto the company's reputation. Tyler never reached out. Not once. Not to apologize. Not to check if I was okay. Not to acknowledge that we destroyed his brother together. I'd see his Instagram stories through a fake account I created. Him and Jess at brunch. At concerts. At his place, cooking together. Living the life he'd promised we'd have someday. That someday we both knew would never come. I wasn't even a footnote in his life. I was nothing. I'd blown up my entire existence for someone who couldn't even send a sorry this happened text. Marcus's friends started posting vague things about loyalty and betrayal and knowing someone's true character. About dodging bullets. About trash taking itself out. The comments were full of people I'd considered friends. People who'd been at our engagement party. People who'd liked my photos and commented on my posts and acted like we were close. All of them on his side. All of them right to be. Sarah, who I'd been in a book club with for 4 years, posted, "Some people will betray anyone for a cheap thrill. So grateful for the real ones in my life." 43 likes. Including my cousin. I tried to apologize. Wrote Marcus a letter. 10 pages, front and back. Explaining nothing because there was nothing to explain, just apologizing. Begging. Promising I'd do anything. That I knew I destroyed us. That I hated myself. That he was the best thing that ever happened to me and I'd thrown it away. That I understood if he never forgave me, but I needed him to know I was sorry. So sorry. I mailed it to his office. It came back 3 days later. Unopened. Return to sender written across the front in his handwriting. He didn't even care enough to read it. His sister posted a photo 2 months after everything imploded. Marcus with his arm around a woman. Brunette. Pretty. Smiling up at him like he hung the moon. The caption, "So happy to see this guy smiling again. We love you, Marcus." Just friends, one comment said. Amy responded, "For now." Winky face emoji. I stared at that photo for hours. The way he looked at her. Soft. Open. Hopeful. The way he used to look at me. The comments were full of encouragement. "You deserve happiness. She's gorgeous. Upgrade. Finally someone who appreciates a good man." I wasn't even a downgrade in their narrative. I was just gone. A cautionary tale. A mistake he'd moved past. My few remaining friends tried the gentle intervention approach. Coffee dates where they'd say things like, "You need to forgive yourself, everyone makes mistakes." But they didn't get it. This wasn't a mistake. Mistakes are accidental. Locking your keys in the car is a mistake. Forgetting someone's birthday is a mistake. I'd made 1,000 deliberate choices. Calculated decisions. I'd chosen this. Every single time. I started therapy. Dr. Morrison asked why I did it. I didn't have an answer. She waited. Let the silence stretch. Finally I said, "I don't know." Boredom? Ego? Because I could? She wrote something down. Asked if I'd always been impulsive. I said no. Asked if I'd cheated before. No. Asked what was different about Tyler. He made me feel young, I said. Like I mattered. Like I was special. And Marcus didn't? Marcus made me feel safe. Comfortable. Tyler made me feel alive. And now? Now I feel nothing. She said we'd work on it. That we'd unpack the self-destructive patterns. The need for external validation. The fear of commitment masquerading as boredom. But working on it didn't undo it. Didn't bring Marcus back. Didn't make Tyler suddenly care. Didn't make me less alone. My mom finally really talked to me. 3 months in. We were doing dishes. She'd been quiet all night. "Ben, I'm disappointed in you." Not angry. Disappointed. Which was so much worse. "I taught you about commitment. About integrity. About being a good partner. And you threw it away for what? A thrill? Attention? What was so broken in you that you destroy a good man's life?" I didn't have an answer. She didn't expect one. "Marcus called me," she said. "Did you know that?" The day after. He apologized. Said he was sorry to drag our family through this. That he hoped I was okay. That man's heart was shattered and he called to check on me. I started crying. She didn't comfort me. "You don't get to be the victim here," she said. "You did this. You live with it." I saw Marcus once. 4 months after everything ended. Whole Foods on a Saturday. He was with the brunette from Instagram. Her name was Lauren. I'd stalked her profile enough to know. They were laughing. She touched his arm. He looked happy. Not content. Not comfortable. Actually happy. They were in produce. I was in cereal. I watched them for 5 minutes. The way she'd hold up vegetables and he'd nod or shake his head. The way they moved together. Easy. Natural. The way we used to. He picked up a pineapple. She laughed. Said something I couldn't hear. He put it in the cart. Kissed her forehead. The kind of casual affection that comes from safety. From trust. I stood there until they turned the corner toward checkout. He never saw me? Or he did and didn't care enough to react. Both options felt equally devastating. That's when I understood. I hadn't just lost Marcus. I'd lost the future. The wedding we'd planned for next spring. The kids we'd talked about. Names we'd agreed on. Emma for a girl. James for a boy. The house we were going to renovate. The trips we'd planned. Italy for our honeymoon. Japan for our 5th anniversary. The life I'd taken for granted while I was busy chasing something that was never real. Tyler got engaged. 7 months after everything blew up. To Jess, the gym girl. I saw it on Instagram before I remembered to unfollow him. Rooftop proposal. Sunset. Her crying. Him smiling. The caption, "She said yes to forever. Luckiest man alive." The comments were full of congratulations. Marcus commented, "So happy for you both." With a heart emoji. Like nothing had happened. Like Tyler hadn't helped destroy his life. Like brotherhood meant more than betrayal. Maybe it did. Maybe that's how much I mattered in the end. I couldn't even be angry. What right did I have? I'd used Tyler as much as he'd used me. We'd both known what we were doing. We'd both known it was wrong. The difference was he'd moved on. Found someone who didn't come with complications. Who didn't remind him of his worst choices. I was stuck. Frozen in the moment, everything fell apart. The thing about blowing up your life is everyone expects you to rebuild it. Get therapy. Learn from it. Become a better person. Journal. Exercise. Date again. Move on. But no one tells you that some things stay broken. That some people don't get second chances. That sometimes you just have to live in the aftermath of your own choices. Forever. I date now. Casually. Men I meet on apps who don't know my story. But I can't do it. Can't let anyone close. Can't risk caring. Can't trust myself not to destroy it. I'm 32 and I've already had my great love. I just didn't realize it until I killed it. First dates are torture. They ask about past relationships. I say it didn't work out. If they push, I say we wanted different things. Which is technically true. I wanted chaos. Marcus wanted forever. One guy, David, made it to date 4. Started talking about his ex-wife who cheated. How he'd never understand people who did that. How it was the ultimate betrayal. I excused myself to the bathroom and left through the back. Blocked his number. He deserved better than a liar. Marcus got married last month. I didn't see the photos. Didn't have to. My mom went to the wedding. She was invited. His family loved her. Felt bad she'd been caught in the crossfire. I wasn't invited. Obviously. She came home and I could tell she'd been crying. Happy crying. Said it was beautiful. That he seemed really happy. That Lauren was kind. That her vows made everyone cry. That Marcus smiled the entire time. That his parents looked relieved. That Tyler was the best man and gave a speech about second chances. She didn't say I should have been there. She didn't have to. We both knew I'd thrown away a man who would have stood at an altar and promised me forever. And meant it. I think about what I'd say to him if I could. If he'd listen. If he'd give me even 5 minutes. But there's nothing to say. Sorry doesn't cover it. Sorry is what you say when you bump into someone or forget their birthday or break a dish. There's no word for what I did. No apology big enough. No way to undo 18 months of lies. No way to give him back the time I stole. The future I destroyed. The trust I shattered. Tyler's wife had a baby. A girl. Eleanor. They posted photos from the hospital. Marcus was in one of them, holding his niece. Uncle Marcus. He'd have been a good dad. We'd talked about it. What kind of parents we'd be. How many kids we wanted. He wanted 3. I wanted 2. We compromised on 3. That future is his now. With Lauren. With someone who didn't throw it away. I still live with my mom. But I have my own apartment lined up. Starting over at 32. 1 bedroom. New furniture. New neighborhood where no one knows me. New version of myself that's just the old version with more baggage and fewer people who care. Last week, I drove past the house. Our house. Marcus's house. There were toys in the yard. A swing set. Pink bicycle with training wheels. He built the family we planned. Just with someone else. Someone who deserved it. I don't tell people what happened anymore. When they ask why I'm single or if I've ever been engaged, I say it didn't work out. They don't push. They can see something broke in me. They just don't know I'm the one who broke it. The worst part isn't the loneliness. It's the knowing. Knowing exactly how I got here. Knowing I can't blame anyone else. Can't say I was young or stupid or drunk. I was 30 years old. Sober for half of it. Making choice after choice after choice. Knowing that every single person who cut me off was right to do it. Knowing that if I were them, if I were Marcus or Amy or my own brother, I'd have done the same thing. I cheated on the best man I'll ever know with someone who didn't even like me enough to answer the phone when it mattered. Someone who blocked me before I left the driveway. Someone who moved on before I even knew we were done. I traded a lifetime for 18 months of hotel rooms and lies. I thought I was choosing excitement. Freedom. Passion. I was choosing nothing. And now nothing is all I have left. Nothing in the memory of a man who would have loved me forever if I'd just let him.